All right. Well, we got a semi-clean shop, a fresh mind that I'm not going insane sanding. I think we're gonna do some wiring. As much fun as that sounds, we're probably gonna use, well, we're gonna use that Painless kit that we got. It's a 21 circuit. I want to thank the folks at Painless for reaching out, sending us this kit. So we're kind of going to go through this. We'll see what we got. This is going to be something pretty common that maybe folks can relate now, because it's not some weird Chinese one that I would normally probably just buy. We'll see. So we have this. Looks like some kind of a bulkhead dealio. We have plugs for our, oh yeah, that's for a GM column. We're not using that on this one. It's got a nice little crimp set. We do have some, oh, that's an injection. We have that. We have this, which is like a nice little braid kit, so we can keep everything pretty clean under the hood there. This stuff's nice. A lot of ties. Oh, tape. Oh man, got a little bit of everything in here. Oh, that's awesome. Right on. What this is it'll go over your wires and just give it a really nice clean look. So that's going to be the plan. I'm working on cleaning up my bench so we can kind of lay things out. Right, bud? We're just going to lay things out. And then, well, I want to just sling everything through, get all in place. It'd be nice that I have that wired, that we could actually like turn a key, fire this thing up, maybe check the fuel system, see if that all works. Like do the AC and stuff, but I don't know if we'll get to that this round. Same thing, gauges and all that. We'll see. Hopefully I can get all that with the signals and stuff working. We don't have the signal lights, none of that stuff is in here as of yet, but if we get the wires out there, like we'll know they'll just work. So I'll have to switch out the headlights. We have all this stuff. But I do have my buckets and we don't have any lights, so I'm gonna have to make some lights for them eventually. So the way these go on, I don't have these lower portions, so I'll have to figure that stuff out later. Anyways, I think that is where we are gonna start. We'll start with some electrical. It's more not fun to a lot of people, but it is an important part of doing a project. So we'll well, I'm gonna continue cleaning up my bench. Oh, it reminds me, I think I showed this stuff, but maybe I haven't. I got this chrome edging, which I don't know. It's not as thick as I thought it was. So whatever, that might go on the shelf. I was at Princess Auto, and they have some of this. I'm either going to use this for like my door seal. I don't know. It's like a two-piece. I don't know what it's for. I think it's like for their toolboxes or their toolbox in front of, what do you call it? Like on trailers and stuff. Anyways, we have that. We have this edging. This is like the stuff I was talking about to go around all my windows and all that stuff. So I have that. And I got some of this edging. This is what's going to go under my front brow of my hood so it doesn't, or my roof, so it doesn't cut the vinyl. This will just kind of slip on. It's got a nice rubber edge that we'll be able to wrap the vinyl around and not worry about it getting cut. So we have a few little pieces, few options. I know Princess has a bunch of different stuff like this one, different thicknesses and things. I don't know if the edge is much bigger, but you know, the pieces I made, this will kind of click onto there, and then this will press up against the glass on all places. So at least that's what I'm hoping will happen. And then, yeah, we've seen the foam. These are going to go under the back, so that's going to sit over our painted edge. And I don't really know what I got this one for. It might go across the top of the glass and just be as a first seal before the other one rests against it. I don't know. I just found a random roll, so I'll just cut off what I need and just keep kind of sticking it on there. We'll try things. Right, buddy? We'll try things till it works. All right, now we'll get going. Well, folks, I have never used like a Painless harness. I've always used like Amazon and all the other ones. So this one will probably relate to a lot of you folks that are kind of worried about buying an Amazon one. I haven't had anything burned down, but anyways, this is the part number that I got here. Here, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so there's part number. I don't know, it looks pretty complete. We'll have a better look here when we go through it, but it looks like this will be headlight hardware. This just looks like a lot of extra stuff, I'm not sure. This is like GM column stuff. So usually the harnesses I get, this is already like in the harness. This one's not so much, but that's okay. That is fine. This one's kind of like you make it by the looks of it. I'm going to guess it's like a firewall grommet or something, or maybe it's for the back of the fuse box. I don't know. I didn't read the manual. It does come with quite the hefty manual. So if what I'm saying don't make sense, I think this thing goes through quite the detail here, step by step, how to do everything, which is pretty. This is actually like a crazy amount of detail in here. Cool. I'm not too worried. Anyways, what I'm doing is I'm going to do my typical, I'm going to string this out and see how this thing zones right out of the box and how close it is to what I'm trying to do. It's kind of, I guess that's your fatter main feed. Stickers we got there. Got the fuse box. And we'll try to run this out and see how this goes here. This is, oh, we got like, what have we all got in here? Got heat, AC, got electric fan, turn signal, gauges, coil, radio, horn, stop, hazards, headlights. Headlight? Dome and hazard, stop, horn. And we have an accessory, few things. I guess this is going to be for either the horn or the fan. I don't know how this one's set up. Anyways, let's just get started. I mean, everything's like all the other harnesses. They're all labeled nice. So it looks like it's all labeled very well on all the wires. We've got brake switch, all that jazz in here. Okay, let me get this thing unraveled, and then we'll kind of see how my whole zoning system works here. All right, gonna go on snipping duty. I'm gonna cut all these. They're not zip ties, they're actually twists. See where we get. I also want to thank the folks from Painless because they actually sent this out for me. Alrighty, I'm just trying to see where I'm at here. There is numerous ways a person can do this, but I guess this is smaller, so this is probably going to be in my cab, I'm going to guess. So these are grouped as well. I have one group here. I have a group here. I have a group here. Well, there's like a lot of groups. I'm gonna see what's what. So we got one group. Boy, hopefully it's not too boring for you folks. Let's see here. Man, I can't even read that. This is like radio. This is, one is radio and I can't quite read the other one. You have to mind Pablo and Buddy are having supper there. Kind of spoiled them with some treats. So it's radio, constant, and then, so these are radios. This is AC heater switch to cooling fan switch. Okay. We're just seeing where things go here. I don't know exactly what's what as of yet, but, and what do we got all here? So this is probably like my keys. This is starter solenoid, ignition switch, ignition switch, ignition switch power. Okay, so this is going to be my key. We got heater stuff. Am I going to guess this is dash stuff, like gauges and stuff? So we got a horn switch. Turn. So this is probably all my steering column. This is going to be like signals, everything else. This is key, steering column. I mean, it all looks right. Left turn, right turn, turn, turn. Yeah, this is like all my signal stat. And here we got, this is probably all dimmer switch headlights. This is all the headlight switch, everything. So far everything's like in the right order. Normally when I do this, you know, there's things going in the wrong places. So far, I'm liking where everything's going, I'll tell you that much. And what do we got here? So that's that one, is that one. This is dome and courtesy. So this is front park lights, so yeah, I gotta go through this a little bit here more. Those two are grouped all together. Well, that's signal and stuff. Oh, it even shows you the way the current is supposed to be going. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Oh, this is reverse switch. Reverse switch. Interesting. I don't have that on my truck. Dimmer switch. Oh, okay, so this is dimmer switch. Cool. Then that means this is probably going to be my headlight switch. This is dimmer switch, headlight switch. This is probably going to go to my dash, I'm going to guess. Instrument panel lights. So left turns. So this is instrument panel, which is like your gauges, lights, all that stuff. And it looks like there's everything in here a fella needs. Instrument panel. So fuel gauge. Yep. Temp sender. Gauge power. Right turn. Oil sender. Left turn. Tachometer. I have an accessory power. I don't know what that'd be for. Maybe a volt gauge. High beam. Well, everything looks like it's. So far, I haven't had to screw with anything. Actually, it's looking really good here. So I got wiper switch, power, and then cooling fan switch, power, AC switch, power. So I had two of them, so I was kind of mixed on this. I bet you if I read the manual, it would tell me. Cooling fan 2 switch. So these actually say these are to go to the switch. Switched power. So these two actually go together. Well, how interesting is that? So then these probably rifle back to stuff. That's the way I see this. Interesting. Well, so far I haven't actually had to take anything apart. Everything is here. So one of these, this is probably goes to the back section of the car. Oh no, this looks like the engine bay. This I just don't know what Pablo's doing there. Here I look like I got some shorties, but we'll see what we got in here. So here we got, I'm just going through everything. So this is my, I have to read everything one way. This goes to tail section. So this is the tail light ground. Wow, interesting. Ground. Tail light, that's the fuel sender. Brake light. Dome light power. Well, some of this is gonna not go to the back of the car. Let me see how long some of this is here. Oh, sir. That is for a big truck, I'll tell you that. Not my little dinky truck here. Okay, we're gonna check this out here again here. Tail section, so this is, I got my fuel sender, we got, oh, this is dome light ground, so I don't need that to go to the back of the truck though. It's gonna stay in the car, in the truck. So you may wonder what I'm doing. I guess these are like dome light, but maybe for the trunk. I don't know, it's running all the way to the back. So I'll put interior lights in the truck, like on the kick panel, but I don't need them going all the way to the tail pan of the truck there. So I pulled those out. Everything else though, like, looks 100%. And if you look at the length of this, I don't know if this kit is for a truck. It's for a pickup chassis, okay. Like, they got enough wire that if you're building a cab over, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get to the back of the thing. Like, golly, it's long. Anyways, I just pulled third brake light wire out. I don't use that, I never have. I know folks are gonna say you should put it in, but I don't know, that feels too street roddy to me to have that third little brake light in there. I got tail lights, I'm good with that. Anywho, we got that. I pulled out one of these is the power, and then the other one is like the ground for the dome lights. Like, you probably run it, I don't even understand that. You probably run power. Usually they go to a button or a switch. So anyways, there's some wire for me. I got these, I'll figure these out later. So anyways, that's the tail section. I'm gonna string this back together. You can see I went for a huge walk. It's way the heck out there. So we got a lot. There is a lot, which is good. So that's the rear. We have all the interior stuff, and there was nothing weird that I seen that I had to take out or that I wouldn't use. So that's all in there. I mean, I probably won't use the tack. This is all the wiring for the front now, which is gonna go to my headlights, everything else. So they have it slung out pretty good. Like, you really wouldn't have to fart with it. I like to just pull needless wires out that I don't need or won't use. So that's just something I do. I usually go through the harnesses like this really quick and zone it, just because they're usually done poorly. But you get what you pay for, I guess. And I don't mind spending the time doing that. So anyways, in the front section, we got, it should have everything we need here. We got our high beam. We have This is front light section cooling fan relay. So this probably turns your fan relay on and off. That's maybe why we have a fatter wire somewhere else. Then we got our park lights, low beam. Then we got our right turn, our left turn. So this is all our headlight stuff. Front turn. So this part's good. We'll leave it as is. Nothing to change. This is probably going to be my coil and a few things like that. I'm only guessing because there's two wires together here. And well, this is alternator stuff. So this goes to the alternator. What else we got here? This is going to go to the alternator. This one just is going to go to the battery source. Let's look at this chunk because we're going to have our water and all those kind of things. So this is a temp gauge. I might bust these down a little more. Anyways, what do we got here? We got, oh, the brake switch is in here. It's kind of weird. I'm thinking that maybe they think I'm going to have the brake switch on the outside of the car somehow. Mine will be inside the car. So this is kind of why I run through this, because these are going outside the car, but I want these to stay in the car. So this is probably all for my brake switch. So I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to leave them inside the car. I don't want them going through the firewall. That one and the orange one. Section brake switch. That's a weird one. I'm sure there's a reason they did that, but I didn't read it. MacArthur, so that's alternator. This will be the actual starter solenoid. This will be the coil. This is going to be probably a choke, I'm imagining. Yep. Choke, water, oil. Oh, is that temp? Temp, oil. You see heater switches. So everything here pretty much just goes. I like to break this out a little more because a couple will go to the distributor, but when this goes out, we'll funnel this properly through the motor section again. This one's going to go to the battery. This one runs with this, but it's going to split off because it's going to go to the alternator at some point here. So, other than the brake, that was only one. But I'm imagining this is, who knows, maybe it's for an older car that wants to go to the brake switch that's outside the truck. Like this truck factory would have had the brake switch outside the vehicle on the floor. And because we got swinging pedals, I just have to pull these inside the cab now. So this will go into the inside cab section. Probably pull it back and then hook it up with wherever it is where I had some of this dash stuff. Anyways, for the most part, I had to do less farting around than I normally do. And there's way less wires that I've only pulled out one. Everything else looks good. All right, what do we do now? I think next step is we actually just start slinging it through the truck. So, guess we'll get started.
we got our fuse boxes in. You can see it there. We did our little grommet through the firewall, so that's there. I so far just have the wiring all just kind of looped and thrown through their holes that we have to wire things to, like headlight, our ignition. This is our signal stuff, so I don't know where that's going. I don't really know the wiring colors for this, so I'll figure that out. And then this is anything on my dash side of things, which I think everything's kind of mechanical, but whatever. We'll run what we can run. The dome lights, when I do it, they're over here. And then the dimmer switch, I kind of ran off to the side. It's going to slink down. There's one in the floor, but these probably don't work, so I was just going to pull it out and just put a regular stomp pedal in. Outside, we punched a hole. We ran a grommet nicely out this way. I want to kind of clean this up a little bit better to where things have to go. And then we can kind of loom this stuff up. So we got there. This is the section that's going to the back of the truck, which can be all by itself doing its own thing, just because it's all it's doing is taillights and my fuel gauge. We'll have to run some other wires after to run for the compressors, because they go up there, but they'll have to be on a relay and triggered with the switch, triggered with, mind you, maybe I have the relays there. So I just basically got to run a feed wire back there. They hook up to the switch, and then I need a wire going into the truck that I can turn them on and off, so it's doesn't turn on all the time. I'd rather it work with the ignition, but I have the option to turn it off. When I'm at a show, I really hate driving through my compressors running, so you just have a switch to bypass. That's kind of what I do. And then usually I make it a three-way, so one will work with the key, one will turn it off, and then the other option is I can bypass it and just make it run. So in case it's not quite ready to turn on, I can kind of force it over as long as I pay attention to my gauges. I do believe I have a blow-off on there, so in case I over pump it, it'll got a pressure release valve that'll just pop. That's about it. The other thing we got to do now, when Painless sent this out, they sent us a bunch of these kits, or a couple of these, which is like a braid. So we can make pretty nice. I'm not too concerned under my dash, but we'll run this stuff down like in the engine bay. We'll wrap all our wires along the chassis so they can't chafe on anything. And they just, I don't know, stuff looks nice. It's pretty cool. It's got different sizes and things. Again, I don't think I'll do anything behind a dash, because if I need to identify something, I can look at it. We'll just tie them up nice and kind of get stuff out of the way. So far, we just have everything kind of schlung in the corner going around. Like, we're trying to be clean, and usually by the time I'm done, it's kind of a mess, but I'm hoping this time around that's not the case. Anyways, over here, I noticed with the kit, it comes with a whole bunch of stuff, so we can have like a distribution thing on the firewall if we want. And I guess it's got some heat shrink for that bigger wire, along with some fuses and some, I know what these are, but I don't know what they're called. This is probably for the, what do you call it? I bet you, if I read the manual, it'll probably tell me, but they're probably for the alternator so they can't feed back and try to power the truck, because if you don't have a light, again, this thing goes into, yeah, see, I was right. This thing goes into great detail, this book. This is probably going to be a good reference for everything and anything down the road, I'll tell you that much. This will kind of go up beside my LS book, I think. Look at this stuff. It's got everything. All right. So I was right. When I looked at the book, this is actually, if you had a car and you wanted to hook this up near the master cylinder or something, then you can mount the fuse box and bolt it up. I just drilled and stuck it on the firewall, so that's not too big of a deal. Okie doke. Let's get going here, and I'm going to loom that stuff up. I'm going to run that thing to the back. We'll somehow fasten it to the truck later, but I want to work on that. I want to work on my switches. I won't go into detail wiring it, because it's just that. It's a switch. Like, this is an ignition switch, and you know, it's labeled in the back, ignition coil. It's got all that stuff going on. This is my heater switch, so this will work with the heater. The AC itself is going to be, it's got its own thing, but I'll probably piggyback the power off the two. Or is it a two? I think so. Or no, one of these has have to feed power to it. Whatever. We'll figure it out there in a bit. And then, yeah, and this is the light switch, so this one will be fun. This is the original one. I don't have an aftermarket one, so I'm just gonna try to figure this one out, find a wiring a spiel with this, and then try to make it work with the truck here. It would be ideal. I don't know what that was for you guys. That was about an hour for me to, and I'm not done yet. We do have the rear wiring is zip tied to the chassis along the back here. Well, we kind of followed a brake line, but whatever. That's back here. We kind of left enough, but I haven't done anything yet. I'm gonna have to somehow poke it through the floor here yet, and then we can run it to each side for our lights, you know, license plate light, all that stuff. So inside, nothing else has changed in there. Out here, I've just been spending a bunch of time breaking this up into, well, our zones or whatever it is, and sticking this stuff on. It's got to be an easier way. I was trying to do the old wrench, pull it through, which works, but not very good. It's usually I can get away with the plastic loom you can stick your finger in, but anyways, this stuff looks super nice. They also sent me some of their fabric tape, which is kind of like hockey tape, but stronger, I guess. Anyways, just for around the edges, and I didn't realize the second roll is like Velcro, so that's kind of cool. Might do that up on inside the cab in places, but anyways, yeah, we got this thing there. It is slung this way, so over here we're coming down. This is going to be our coil, tack, and our oil pressure, and then I still got to wrap this up. This comes around over here, so that'll be the alternator, the water, the electric choke. I don't know if I have one, but I'll leave it over there. And then we've only just ran and just dumped it out the fenders. So I came in this side, and this is doing my headlight, my signal stuff. And around the front here, I kind of ran it through the front. Usually there's a tube, and I don't have that on this truck. So I'm gonna go under the rad, come up, back through the chassis here, and then into the factory light. That's how I'm gonna run everything. So that's that. We'll kind of finish this all up. So this is like engine stuff here. This is going to go to the battery. This will go down to the starter. And then the battery, there should be a loop around, which is probably what that big wire is. Will be battery to the starter. That's kind of how we'll power the whole vehicle. Battery to starter. Oh, we'll have that already. So I don't know. Never mind. That's going to be down there. I'm already going to have a wire going down to the starter. Oh yeah, no, that'd probably be a wire going from the alternator back to the battery. That's what we have to do for the charging system. Cool. So this is almost done. Like I said, I probably have, that's an hour, maybe 2-3 hours into this thing totally right now. It's not a big deal. We haven't gotten into the meat of actually wiring stuff up yet, but at least the wiring's like sticking in all the places it's supposed to go. I know a lot of people don't like wiring at all, and I really don't mind it. And actually, this is a little more enjoyable than most of the stuff that I use. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna go in, grab a bite to eat, then we're gonna come back and finish up. I'm gonna finish up under the hood there really quick, and then we're gonna start doing all of our switches and stuff. I don't have any bulbs or anything for anything, so the wiring's probably gonna lay dormant, like just looped up at all the corners, and we'll revisit that. But I do want to get get the headlight switch wired, dimmer switch, the key. Basically, I want to be able to fire the truck up off the key. That's my goal for this evening. Hopefully we get everything else. I do have some accessory courtesy lights. I want those in. I do have some buttons to do like the ground. Do those in the door, but that might be later when I do the interior and stuff like that. Anyways, grab a bite to eat, and then we'll be right back at it. Well, down below, we got our compressors wired. I got my trigger wire going up. I'm gonna go with the harness, go back. Fuel gauge is here, just gotta do one tie up on top. And then here, I'm still not sure where I'm piggybacking into the floor pan, like into the trunk pan to do the lights and stuff. But we do have our wire looped up and over, zipping along. The power wire is piggybacking off the bottom here, to which that one's gonna be my start wire somewhere there. Might be a temporary for now. I think I gotta do a new one and just bring it up through the back here. But anyways, that's done. You can see all my wiring for the front is just through, but it doesn't go anywhere yet. I'll have to change out the lights, and we'll have to put a socket in here for the signal and the marker. But it's, actually I think I have some lights in the shed. I'll see if I can dig them out. Maybe we can just get all the lights working on here. I know I have sockets because every time I do a Rock Auto, I always just buy a bunch of extra sockets and stuff like that because a feather always needs that stuff. So I don't know where it is, but I do know in here I have a few. So we have like these, and we're gonna do the duals in the back there. We'll do everything. So maybe we'll wire that all up and we'll be good to go. I think the next step is I'm going to be doing my key, my stomp switch, my high-low beam, my headlights. I'll probably do my gauges. There's really not much in there because it's a mechanical speedo. And I think it's a mechanical oil. Well, I can't dig that out right now. Anyways, yeah. Amp gauge. I really never really hook up amp gauges. I'm not a fan. Kind of think the ideal way they work is you're supposed to run your whole system through it, and it just seems like a place to burn. All right. Well, I'm going to start wiring up the inside there and see if we can get this thing ready to fire. Hopefully we get her done tonight.
Well, it's late. I didn't quite get as far as I wanted, but did pretty good. So I have everything just dangling because I got to put everything assembled here. I didn't pain you through me crimping a bazillion wires. I'm missing some stuff because you've seen me working on the dash, but I'm missing some sockets for the lights, for the signals here and here. I have for the high beam. We piggybacked all of these. They were going to tee off, and those will be our dash lights. I'm going to feed power into the side here, which is our fuel gauge, and it'll power our water gauge. Then I have to do the senders onto there. I'm going to figure out some way to rinky-dink my amp gauge. Hopefully it just moves and does something, but don't care personally. Before we I basically stripped out the guts out of the one because the one had a nicer, like the numbers were easier to read and stuff. So this one's a little cleaner. I got to figure a way to polish that thing up. Anyways, on this front, I've just been basically running and wiring stuff. So it's not much fun as it is, but we have the key is in. I struggled a bit with the signals like this. Their Painless, their book kind of goes through everything, which is pretty cool, but the colors were not the same. At least I think they're not. I have it wire tested. Everything seems good other than I think I got to take this thing apart because the right rear signal doesn't work. The brake light works, but the signal doesn't. So I think there's something in here that's got to get cleaned up. Anyways, we got our light switch. I reused the old one, figured it out. It should be good to go. This is the heater. So it's basically the power is for heat and AC. So I fed power into here. We're piggybacking a line off of here that's going to run the AC unit when I do it. And on the AC side, there's another wire for it just to run. Anyways, the heater's there. We gave a long lead to go over to the heater box, so we'll be able to do all of that fancy stuff. I've kind of gone through there. We got this big chunk of loom that's going to be under the carpet so it doesn't bother me, but that's running up there. So here's we got all of our switches. Well, it's going to be our switches, and it's going to be our power for the compressors, like to turn the relays on and off. And then the other one we have is this little, whatever it is here. This is going to be for my gauge, dial gauge for my air ride gauge when that happens. We're very close, but it's late. I'll call it a night. We'll finish it up tomorrow. Not that big of a deal. Overall, I have about half a day into this, and it's pretty much now I can assemble, like put the key in, I can put all this stuff in, and it's like that's done. I got to find a switch. I think I have one actually for the wiper because it has the park and stuff. And maybe I have one. I don't know if I do. I have a drawer with random bits here. And I thought I had, but it might be a heater switch that I think is, yeah, they're not. Okay, so I got to get a wiper switch, but okay, that's future me problem. I'll at least rinky-dink the wires out over to a side, and then I can kind of deal with them later. Okie doke. Well, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Alrighty, we did not get a whole lot done today. We're still working on it. I did actually get
I didn't show it, but I cut a plate, so all my air ride switches are here. I got these two screwed up, so I got to switch them around. This is going to be for my compressor. I don't know. I don't have the battery properly hooked up, but I can hear the solenoid going on, so one will work with the ignition and my compressors will work, and then I can turn them off as need be. We did get the radio hooked up. I got this little part into here. What else do we got? I don't know. We're going with small wins today. Anyways, I got a pair of clippers in my pocket. I'm going to go look for some light bulb dealios, and just so I can finish up my signals in my dash, and we can kind of work forward from there. Over on this front, look at this. We dragged this thing out of the mud. Like, it was really stuck in the mud, but stay tuned. We're going to do a little bit of work on this thing. Try to get it actually running and finish this sucker up. That is, hopefully I'll be able to take it for a burn soon. But we got to tear the motor apart and see what's going on. By what's going on, there's really not a lot. It is just the head gaskets. Like, for sure I got to replace that. And then, I don't know, hopefully, oh, we got to do e-brake. We got to do a lot of stuff to it, but we'll see. We'll see where we get. That's kind of sitting in limbo. Anyways, I'm on the hunt for some bulbs so I can get the dash in. Not so much the bulbs, but the sockets. I don't have any of the sockets anymore. So, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, this thing, I actually have the dash stashed out there, and I can maybe do that. The boys have been doing a whole bunch of scrapping and stuff, so the yard is just a complete mess everywhere. Anyways, I'm going to go dig into this other dash, and we'll see if we got some bulbs sitting in there. I keep referencing bulbs, but it's actually just these sockets I need. I need two of these. I don't have any 12-volt bulbs, but, oh, mind you, these might actually be, now that I think about it. I just need the means of putting signals and wiring them into that car so I can put the dash together. Worst case, I just got to, what do you call it? Worst case, I just got to change bulbs out later, which is no big deal. These are the only two things that I need to actually finish putting the dash into the pickup. All right, well, let's get these back in there. We can actually smash the dash in. Well, I didn't get everything done that I wanted, but I have most everything actually set up. I didn't run the cables in the doors yet, but we do have like the module. You can hear it for the locks. The power door thing is actually hooked up. I did get the dash in. It's not bolted in because I haven't got any 12-volt bulbs yet, but or I have to get a wiper switch. This is like for my fan relay. I mean, I have a lot of the electrical done, considering it's, I think I put about a day into it. So, I don't know. We're about there. I do have to shorten up and figure out my battery cables, but I have them just kind of clippity clamped with the vice grips like I have before.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah. But we were shooting for being able to start the truck with the key this round, so make sure this is...
Yeah.
I don't...
She's alive.
Yeah, well, I've had it running before.
I know.
I'm just gonna shut the compressor off really quick. So yeah, that's sort of how I have my cables hooked up right now. It's loosely working, but it does start. I noticed the power steering kicked pretty hard on me, but I don't have the fuel pump hooked up, but steering works. Something doesn't feel right about it, but it's not shooting out of the way. It's not shooting out of the way like I've hooked it up backwards, but I'm kind of questioning if I do now. I don't know.
You should check that.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. Usually when it's hooked up backwards, it just violently shoots one way or it violently shoots the other way. But anyway, I do have that. I do have the switches in. I got to change 2 of my switches yet, but we are... We have those actually hooked up, so I would say we're at 90% because we kind of have almost everything in the cab hooked up. Almost. We haven't done the dome lights. I just have to change the bulbs in the dash. I think everything's good. I have to do the headlights, marker lights. Almost everything in the engine's done. We'll say we're about 85%. We're pretty close.
Like 85% done? But it doesn't look like we're taking it back to the 50s.
No, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
No.
We are just going to run out of time.
Yeah, we're going to find something. We'll drive something. It might be my T pickup. It might be your truck. It might be the Buick again. I don't know. We'll see. I have options.
We have options.
Yeah. We'll let Esther toss the coin what we're going to do. We could have the International. I don't know. We have lots of things.
We have to have a staff meeting.
What does everybody else want to see us drive? We'll see.
What do you guys want us to take?
Yeah. Anyways, I didn't quite get there, but I mean, we got it wired, and the most of the functionality works, and we did it in like a day. I guess if you really want to stretch it out, it's a weekend, but I think I did it in about 8 hours-ish. I think I'm kind of into it for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We're almost there. But I mean, I got the most done. Not too bad. We got the work on the lights, the back. I'm not sure what I'm doing next round. I think I'm going to start playing with the tonneau cover. I want to try figuring that part out.
Okay.
Because like the top, we haven't made it to the city to actually get any of the vinyl or do any of that stuff yet.
We have to order. We could pre-order it and then pick it up.
Yeah, like we have to figure that stuff out. And maybe I'll just do all that in one shot because the tonneau cover is going to be the same vinyl as that. So that'll be just one big order from those folks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing next, but we'll figure it out. We have time.
Yes,
And if
we
you
do.
segue, we have sort of brought in the 54. I don't know if I'll look at that anytime soon, but
She's back.
yeah. It still runs. It's still leaking antifreeze like it did, but
Oh, goody. Hey, Pablo, pretty exciting stuff.
anyways, I think that's where we're going to leave this one. So, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.